Hi guys, it's Nancy Lynn. I'm here today. I'm going to start making a new journal. I had this cardboard that went around a stencil that I had, and it's 13 by 13. 13 by 13. And I've got my great big, well, this is 12. No, 12 by 12. So you could use a 12 by 12 sheet, but I'm using this for a book, and I'm making this one for my friend Linda. And she's a girly girl. She likes glitz and she loves birds. And so all I'm using is my craft knife. And I pulled out this bigger one because my other one is not quite 12 inches. And I'm going to cut this one here to start off with to get rid of this flap. But I'm not going to use this piece here. I don't want that. So I'm going to, because I'm going to fold this in half, and I really want to mark it down so it'll be 9 inches, because I want this, it's going to be 7.5, 6 by 9, and so I need to come down 3 inches, and I need to come down 3 inches. And so we can just draw a line straight across. And then we can just come straight down. Paper has a little bit of a sheen to it, so the glare, I just totally cut that all cockeyed. There we go. All cattywampus. Alright, so now we got a couple of extra pieces of the chipboard that we can use. And now this I'm going to fold. I want this on the inside. And I'm just making sure that my ends line up. And I don't have a bone folder, so I always use my scissors. Okay, that end's a little bit uneven. This one is fine. I still think that's too tall. So I think I'm coming in another inch. I think I'll do it 6 by 5. And pop it back out. Oh, one more time. See the band-aid on my finger? I sewed through my finger today. I was working on my friend Ann's row quilt. We're all in a group, and a group of us each are doing a section for somebody's row quilt, and hers is birdhouses. And I'm really liking what's happening. I'll have to put a picture on here. Well, she hasn't seen it yet, so. But I'm doing the free motion quilting part on it, and that's where you guide the machine. The machine doesn't guide you. And I always try to get that littlest, tiniest little piece, and I always end up sewing through my finger, but this time it went through that way, so it went, hit the bone, or went through the bone, I don't know, but it's sore. So that's the reason for Band-Aid today. Alright, so now we have this, and so this is going to be the cover for our journal, and I've got to cut this down here because those are the two front and back pieces. And then I'm going to come right down there. So there are the two front pieces, front and back. And now I'm going to take this piece here. Let's see. That's going to leave that about 2 inches. So I think that'll work for the, no, I want something a little bigger. So let's see what I can get out of this piece. That's 3. So I'm going to make some marks on this, and I'm going to go 3.5. 3.5. 3.5. My fall journal that I was making, I did give it to my friend Beth, and I sent it over to her today. So I hope she likes her journal. It was a definite labor of love. She's got a lot going on right now after the hurricane, and I thought she could just use a little pick-me-up. Oh, this one don't want to cut. All right. So we've got that end going. And now from this end, we're going to measure out 3.5 inches. Actually, is that going to be to there? Let me put that back up because I know I will cut my fingers with it. That's like 2 7/8. 2. That's gonna go from there to there. And if that leaves a little bit of that bump left, I'm okay with that, because, and if you're using this knife, like I said, just gently and slowly glide it along. Keep your fingers out of the way. Because it is sharp. And don't do what I just did. Close it up after you're done. Okay, so now we have this piece. Now I don't have a score, so I will just come in and measure. And I'm going to switch to one of my smaller rulers and put this one back up. And so I'm going to come in a 1/2 inch. And let me go to my other ruler. I can see the numbers better. Yeah. Yeah. 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. And 1/2 inch. And this is where our score line is going to be, so that we can 1/2 inch. Half an inch. 1/2 inch. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my ruler along that line, and I'm going to fold up. And then I'm going to move it down. This is if you don't have a long ruler and you only got a short ruler. Alright, so there is our 1/2 inch crease on that side. We're going to do the same thing with the other side. And that little bust right there is not going to bother me because it will all glue together. Alright, and now I need to also cut this down so it's the same height. Alright, so we're going to cut that off. Save that. We might be able to use that for something else. And now remember, I'm going to use this as the inside, so I have to keep that towards. Now I can fold it this way. Nope, and I just folded these the opposite of what I wanted. So I'm going to fold them back the other way. Now, some of you guys, I don't know, do y'all have a plan? When you start, I have an idea. I know that I'm making a journal. I know that who I'm making it for. I know what her likes and dislikes are. And I enjoy that. I sometimes sell stuff, but I like to know the person. I like to put thoughts, pray for them while I'm making something, and just... Now I'm going to stick a piece of paper up under this so that it doesn't all get glue all over the place. And I'm just going to line these up. And make sure it's sealed real well. And then there's going to be the front of my book. And now we're going to do the same thing with this other piece. You can choose whatever side you want to put your glue on. I just find it's much more practical in it. And now this is going to go inside, so this is going to be my outside, and we're going to line that up. And we're going to glue it down. And I'm going to fold it to make sure that it folds. Just going to hold it so it glues, gets tacky and sticks. There we go. And then we'll go back to this side and make sure this side is doing what it's supposed to. Alright, so there we have the first part of our book. Yay! Okay, now this is going to be my outside. And I have this big Mambi sheets, they're called. And there's all kinds of pretty paper in there, and it's thicker than wrapping paper. But my friend Linda's colors are reds and blacks. She likes it, not red, but burgundy and black. So I'm gonna look in here to see what I have that I might like. It has burgundy. Oh, that's pretty. Even though it doesn't have the burgundy, it's still, and I think that's the winner. Let's make sure. Yep, that's it. So that's the one. There were, how many sheets in here? 24 sheets. And I caught this one, I think, at Belk's on their clearance table. So it was a really good deal. Wrapped a lot of gifts out of it. Alright, so now I have this. And this, I'm going to turn it over and open it up to the wrong side. And now I have to decide if I want my stripes going up and down, or do I want them going horizontally, or do I want them going, and I think I want them up and down. And all I'm going to do is take this now. I want to leave a little extra all the way around, maybe 1/4 of an inch, so that I can flip it over and seal off the edges. And so I'm just going to draw a little bit of a line right there, just so that I know where I've got to cut, and I know I can cut along that edge and it'll all be fine. Okay, and now I have plenty of this left over, so I'm going to put it in my stuff that I'm collecting to put inside her journal, and we'll have stuff ready. Sorry, I didn't mean to jar y'all. Alright, so now we have our paper, and we should be pretty square. And this is the one I want towards the outside. This is the one I want towards the inside. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this, and I like where it's at, so what I'm going to do is get my glue. And then, like I said, if it was a thinner paper, I probably would have to use a different glue. But I love my tacky glue, and it is going to be fine with this paper. So let's make sure we're lined up again where we want to be. And then I'm just going to drop that down. It looks like we're pretty good. And then I'm going to flip it. And now I'm going to lift this up. And we'll press that down. And now we just have our cover. And before you know it, you've got a book covered. It's that easy. If you haven't made one of these before and you're thinking, oh, I don't want to make a book, they're so easy to make. Alright, now I'm going to turn this around, And I'm going to use, nope, straight edge. And just try and get it all to lay nice and flat. There was a fold in there, and that's going to leave a little impression. Alright, so now we have it all on front. So now all we're going to do, I do not like to cut my corners. I always cut them wrong. So I'm just going to fold in all my corners. And that will make it a lot easier. And if you see a piece that's coming up at all, just put a little extra glue. But all this is going to hold it in because it's going to be completely wrapped. And we folded all those corners in. Just make sure they're all staying down. And now we're just going to put a bead of glue. We're going to take it, turn it up, turn it over, and hopefully that's made a nice little line for us. Sorry if you hear snoring in the background, that's my puppies. That's my old girl snoring. We're going to do the same thing on all four corners. Well, we did get our power on. It took us, I don't know, quite a while to get our power on. Still no cable, but that's not the end of the world. And I'll tell you what, guys, I have decided I am cutting the cord with cable. I'm going to do internet and antenna for my TV, so we can do free TV. I don't watch that much of it. My husband watches some, but he agreed that the enormous price we were paying for cable was not worth it because everything was a repeat. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. It'll either be really good and we'll get used to it, or we'll be like, oh, what did we do? But we can always go back. So, okay. Let's make sure we're all down. And so we have all of this here. And there we go. We've got our book covered. And I think that's pretty. It's not burgundy, but it's close. It's pink. And it does have some little burgundy colors in there. Alright, so now what we have to do is decide what we're going to use for our interior. And I'll be going to check and see, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And I think I'm going to pull the paper for this book from this Chateau by Craftsmart. I got this from Walmart, and it was marked down to $4.97. Has 48 sheets. They're all front printed, but they're just floral and they're really pretty. And it does have some birds and some gold embossing, so I think this will be perfect for pretty. And I'm also going to pull from, this was the other one I got from, it's designer paper Delilah, and there's 50 sheets in this one, and that's kind of pretty. I kind of like that. And it's got some really pretty, it's not as glitzy as the other one was. Now that's a pretty sheet too. See, and there are some reds, and that's more of a burgundy. So we're either going to do this one, or let's go back to our Chateau. Pretty. That's kind of pretty. I think got some white ones in there. I'm looking to see what they have. And I think that one's going to be the right. That does look like the inside of a book, doesn't it? Let's pull this one out too. Okie dokie. So we've got those two, and that'll give us our start. And I'm either going to use this one, or I'm going to use this one. Is it A? Or is it B? And I know y'all are hollering B, 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 maybe. Some of you guys are saying A, but I think that I'm going to go with B. And so how I'm going to decide, I need this to cover from here to here. And so that should be about 6 inches. And then we did make this 7.5. No, we didn't. Made it 8.5. But it's going to come in. Alright, so we need to cut a piece, 2 pieces that are 7.5 by, no, 6.5. Well, no, we'll go 6 by 8.5. So I know that this is a 12-inch piece of paper, so if I fold it in half, that's already going to give me my 6. And we're good there. This is a lighter weight paper, so it tears very easily. Okay, and then on this side, we need it to be 8.5 inches. It's not quite 8.5, so we'll go there. And we'll go there. And we'll put our line here. Tear those off, and those will be good to use for some of our ephemera. So now we have these two, and we're going to cover this and this, and those are going to fit very nicely. And I will use my lighter weight glue because this is a lighter weight paper to glue these down. And then the last thing we're going to do is put down this middle piece, and I'm probably going to use a piece of fabric just to give it a little more. So we'll go ahead and put these down, and hopefully I have just enough glue in here. It's about running out, so it's time to refill. And I'm hoping I've got just enough glue. We're going to cross over, and I just like to fill in the triangles. And I usually like to take my finger and kind of smooth this down, but we don't have much time with this glue today. Some days it takes a while to glue, and other days it glues really fast. Like today. There we go. And now that very nicely seals the edges that I turned over. Use my straight edge. Helping flattening some of that glue that's in there. And then we're going to go to this end, do the same exact thing. Oh, I got another subscriber this week, and it's a lady that has a channel. She wrote a very nice note. Yay, another subscriber, a new subby as she called herself. And I will have to, next time I turn on the camera, I will have her name. I looked at it and I hadn't been able to, since the power was off and all that, I hadn't really got a chance to really look, but I will tonight. And I'll let you guys know who our new subby is. Okay, so now we have that, and when you open it, you're going to see this luscious and I'll let that dry, and then in the meantime I'm going to choose a fabric to put in here to help give some strength to the spine, and we're going to let that dry, and I'll be right back with the fabric.